Hey everyone, today I wanted to show this website that I got. It's built with Next.js 13 using the app router, and I want to add a dynamic sitemap to it, and I also want to add some additional meta tags to the site. So I have this site right here. I'm going to npm run dev on it, and just the quick lay of the land. This website is built using a Tailwind UI template, so I did not make all of this stuff. I built it on top of a Tailwind UI template. It is using the app router. And this is actually a live site. This is a travel blog that I've been messing around with, and I wanted to demo it on a live site. Alright, so now first thing I want to talk about is a sitemap. That is one of the most important things regarding SEO, because you want to let Google know that your site exists, and you also want to tell Google and any other search engines what kind of pages are on your site. So to make a sitemap, under source app, you want to make a new file called sitemap.ts right here, and this is a pretty small site, so page is just the index page right here. This is just the home page, and then I have an about page, which is just a single page, nothing too crazy going on, and then all the posts I have are under this posts folder, and they're under their own folder. This is kind of just how the Tailwind template was set up, and I was rolling with that. So under sitemap, this is where we can start to add some code. I'm actually going to go back over here to the Next.js docs, and you can see they have some documentation on how to do a sitemap. There's a static sitemap example where you can just straight up put a sitemap into your app directory and it will serve it up. And then there's a one where you can generate a sitemap. So we're going to want to generate one because we have all these posts, and every time we add a new post, we don't want to have to manually add it in there. So let us just copy and paste what they have in their example, and then we can see what happens. So we have a sitemap right here, and to see the sitemap you can go to sitemap.xml, and then you can see, okay, their example one is showing up, acme.com. Obviously our site is not acme.com, so we're gonna have to change some of this stuff, but the basics are there, and we can kind of prove that this is working. What we can do right now is add a little bit of code. So instead of returning this array of like static stuff, we can return an array, and we can do a routes. And I have kind of just 3 pages. If you have a really large site, you might want to use a different solution, or you want to programmatically go through all your pages, but I only have 3 pages. The home page was there's like nothing, the about page, and the posts page. So I'm just gonna put them in a string or in an array, string of arrays or array of strings, and then I'm going to map over them. And what this is right here is going to be the URL of our site. So it's going to be the web host. So there's an environment variable that has the site URL, and if that's not there, then we're going to use the actual base URL of the site. And then we're going to map through these, and then we're going to spit out the URL last modified, which is just going to be a date, and then this change frequency is going to be a daily, going to do one of these. All right, so now what we can do is we can spread routes into here. So now if we save this, let's see what we get on our new sitemap. All right, so that URL should now be correct. The travelxfamily.com, which is the actual URL of the site. And then here's the change frequency, and then here's the last modified. All right, so these are just the basic pages of the site. But what happened to all the posts, right? I have a bunch of posts in here. So none of these are added yet. So let's go add those right now. Let's go back to here, and now under posts, we already have some code in the posts index page that loops through all the articles or all the posts that we have. I believe it's called get all articles. So we can kind of just borrow that from here and do one of these. We can do a let articles, and then we also need to import this here. We don't really need this guy, so we're gonna delete that. All right, so this, we gotta await the getting of the articles, so we need to make this a sync function. And now I think it's gonna complain a bit because TypeScript doesn't like that. So we're gonna need to do a promise, and then put that in a promise, and that should make TypeScript happy. And now we have the articles. So let's see what we actually get. So if we do a console.log of the articles. All right, so when we get to this page, this should stay the same because we haven't really done anything with the articles. If we bring up our console, this is where the console.log is. So here are the articles, and you can see we have an array of the blog posts with the slug, author, date, title, and description, right? So we kind of need the slug right here. The slug is where we're gonna add post / and then the slug. So we're going to do a const posts equals articles dot map, and then we want to return that slug, and the date is what we want to pull out of here. And I'm gonna just copy and paste some stuff. Alright, so we're gonna map over the articles. I'm gonna pull out the slug and the date. The last modified is gonna be the date of the article, and then the slug we're going to just add it onto the URL, the host URL, which is going to be this /post / the slug. So if we save this, and then we also want to spread this into our array that we return at the end. So it's combining the main pages and also the blog post pages. And then we do a refresh. Unable, not work, and change frequency before initialized. Okay, gonna move this guy up here. There we go. And now it should work. All right. So here are the 3 normal pages, and then as you can see here, all the other posts are being filled in. So here is our sitemap. It's working. It is on our site at /sitemap.xml. And what do you do with this sitemap? Well, it's very important that if you have a new website, you need to go to Google Search Console, and you need to tell Google Search Console about your website and about your sitemap. So if you go to search.google.com, this is the interface for Google Search Console. You want to add your domain up here. So these are like all the domains I am managing on this account. Travel X Family is one of them. And it's pretty easy to add your domain here. Google will walk you through the process. You kind of have to prove you own the domain. And then once you get here, you go to sitemaps, and then you enter the sitemap URL. As you can see, I have already done that. But what you would do is, once you have the site live at Travel X Family, and then sitemap.xml, you want to copy this, and you just want to paste it into here, and you want to submit it. And now you're telling Google, the site, you should pay attention to it, crawl these pages, and then eventually Google will process all of your pages, and then you will be indexed by Google. Hopefully, that's not the only thing that needs to happen, but that's one of the big things that does need to happen. All right, so that is the sitemap portion of it. The other thing I want to talk about is the meta tags. So when you're working with the app router, they kind of changed how meta tags work, and layout is kind of it used to be the underscore document, but now that it's under layout. This is the main layout, and before you would have to, if you wanted to add metadata, you would use like the next head component. Well, now all you need to do is have this metadata object with the title and the description, and this will generate the metadata for you. But I kind of want to add some more bits and pieces to this. So if you look right now, Travel X Family is the title, and then I want to add in some open graph data, and I also want to add in like a Twitter card. So when you go to share your link, when you go to share the link to your website with other people in like Slack or on Twitter, there's a nice picture. And then I also want to add a canonical URL, and I'll explain that actually right now. So how you add a canonical URL is pretty simple. This metadata object has all this stuff already built in, so you want to do what's called an alternates object, and then here you want to do a canonical, and you want to just put in the website host URL, which is basically the same thing as this. I actually have made a constant out of it under lib constants, since this is actually going to be used in many other places. So I'm just going to grab it from here, like so. All right. So now the canonical URL is going to exist. And to prove that, let's do a refresh. You want to do the view page source, wrap the lines and zoom in a little bit, and then canonical. All right, so here is the canonical tag that is generated by that. And what the canonical tag does is it tells search engines this URL is kind of like the source of truth for this page, and it also prevents duplicates, because right now I have HTTPS Travel X Family. Well, if you also have like HTTP Travel X Family, you'll kind of want to redirect this, but let's say you forgot to do the redirect, right? Then you'll have a duplicate site basically, and then the duplicate site will have duplicate content, and search engines don't like that, so you need to make it very clear which one you prefer. And the same goes with like www or if you have like HTTPS, www, you'll want to ideally redirect to either non-www or www. You pick one, but to also make doubly sure, you want to add a canonical tag to tell the search engines this is the URL that I want indexed, essentially. I'm not sure if it's super important right now, but it's one of the things that I've always added. So there is that, and then I also want to add in some Open Graph data. I'm just going to paste it from here. I'm going to pop it in under the description. Alright, so the Open Graph data is what, when you go to share your site on Slack or whatever, it'll generate a nice picture and title for you. But a lot of this stuff is kind of the same, right? So the title would be the same as this. The description would be the same as this. So instead of having duplicate content, what I like to do is make a little object up above here. So now I can just do one of these meta.title, and then everywhere this description is the same, meta.description. Alright, so now we have one source of truth for the title, one source of truth to the description, and then we also have this image here. This is the OG image. You can kind of name it wherever you want, and I have it under my public folder, I believe. Yeah, you go into public, OG preview. So this is the picture that will show up in the Twitter card or the little link that you share. You kind of want to make this yourself and then put it in the public folder, and then you want to link to it via the host/OG preview. And then that goes under the images array like this. And then some other things that I have are the URL, the locale, which is like a US language, and then site name, which is the same as the title, and then the type, which is a website. So this is the Open Graph stuff, and now I'm going to add the Twitter cards. So I'm going to kind of do the similar thing here. Twitter card, it uses the same title, same description. It's going to use the same image as this, so that's why I have it broken out into here. And then the card summary is going to be large. And then we're going to save this. And then to test this, you kind of need to have it live. So let me go to the live site. And then if you just go to Google and type in like OG preview. So Open Graph preview. All right, this one works. And then you can paste in your URL and you can check it, and it will show you what it looks like. All right, so if you were to like post this on Facebook, this is what it looks like. This is that Open Graph image, title, description. This is what it looks like on Twitter, and this is what it looks like on LinkedIn, to a Discord. This just makes it more appealing when you go and share your website. So we have it on the home page, but then what about the blog pages? Because the blog pages are probably going to need a similar treatment. So let's go into pages or posts, and then let's go into page. All right, so this is what this blog post looks like right now. The metadata is just a title in the description, but I also want to add the Open Graph stuff to this one. So what you could do is kind of copy and paste you can kind of copy and paste all this stuff and add it down here. And then you can copy and paste this stuff and add it here. And then the alternates. Okay, so if you do this, we'll want to obviously change the title to article.title. You want to change the description to article.description. The URL is going to be a little different because we're going to want the slug. So it's not just going to be this. It's going to be something like this. /posts/ and then the slug is going to be the name of this folder. So it's going to be best burrito Denver, Colorado. And we actually don't need this stuff or this because it's going to inherit whatever is in layout. So the things that you don't need to change, you don't need to put it in twice. And instead of website, this is actually going to be an article. And then the images, you could have a different image for each blog post if you wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to have that one image. That's fine by me. And then same with the Twitter card, article title, article description. The image, I'm not going to change. This, I'm not going to change, so I'm just going to delete it. And then this is actually going to be the canonical URL. Alright, so that is what we're going to set up for our blog post. Let's go back here and web host URL is not defined somewhere, probably in this page. We will define it right now so that you will show us. All right, so let's go to the burritos one. And if you guys are ever in Denver, Colorado, be sure to go to this burrito place. It is amazing. All right, so now if we view the source, we can search for these tags. OG URL, we want to make sure that this is good. So this is travel X family, post, best burrito, Denver, Colorado. Type is now article, which is what we want. The Twitter card stuff is the same. The title is going to be different. It's going to be the title of the article instead of the title of the homepage. So this is all working now. And if you can tell, a lot of this stuff is like the same, like article.title gets repeated a bunch of times. And what if we want to go to this page and do the same thing? Like kind of copy and pasting this is going to be a bit of a pain because most of this stuff is going to stay the same, right? The only thing that kind of changes is going to be the slug and then the title and the description. But we can kind of just pass it in. So we can make a function that helps us generate these meta tags, which is what I have done. If you go into this folder under components, article layout, so I've made this little create metadata function right here. And what it takes in is the title, description, and the slug. So these are the only three things that would ever change. All the other stuff like type article is not going to change. And then it's going to return the object for us. So we don't have to make any mistakes copying and pasting. So this is what that would look like. I have an example on one of these ones. All right, so let's do this. Let's go to the best pizza in Denver. And now, all right, so we'll do the create metadata, make sure it's being imported in from here. And then we'll pass in the description, which is article.description. same, article.title here, and then the slug is going to be the big move China. Nope, it's going to be best pizza Denver, Colorado. And again, if you're ever in Denver, Colorado, go check out Blue Pan Pizza. They are the best in Colorado, in my opinion. All right, so now let's check out this pizza one. Let's go back, go to the best pizza, view the page source, wrap this lines, I don't need that. And then the canonical URL should be good. Post best pizza Denver, Colorado. The description looks good. The title looks good. Best pizza. OG title looks good to me. And that is all I have for today. Hopefully that was helpful in getting you started on creating dynamic sitemaps with the app router in Next.js, and then also the kind of semi-dynamic metadata for your blog posts.